What's going on, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas and the Pod at the Palace, coming to you from Auburn. We're on campus down here roaming around a little bit around the athletic facilities, which is pretty cool. I'm honestly kind of glad that I didn't start doing this a couple minutes ago and start talking bad about Auburn, because it turns out I was walking right beside Dylan Cardwell, Auburn's big, 6'10", 260-pound center. I probably didn't want to be talking too crazy around that guy, but an interesting place, man. Everything is right here on campus. It's a small, intimate deal. Pretty cool. I mean, so far we've been impressed with it. We're staying, John and I. It's not like campus housing or anything like that, but definitely some student apartments just kind of right across the street from campus. So we're right in the thick of it. If you guys have been following on social media, you see all the Auburn decor that I've been posting from our Airbnb. I had to get out of there, man. It's a little bit too much orange and blue for me, I have to say. But no, a really cool place. You guys can see as we're walking around out here, a little bit of Jordan-Hare Stadium. Arkansas got a dub there this year. How about that? Cool place, man. Big facility over there. And then we've got Neville Arena here where it's getting ready to go down, the jungle to my other side. So Arkansas, I mean, listen, I'm excited to be down here. Honestly, it means a chance to witness something special. It really is. And, like they say, it's one of the top environments in college basketball. We'll see if that's the case. We'll be the judge of that. I mean, Arkansas fans are excited about what Bud Walton Arena has to offer. We were in Lexington at Rupp Arena for a deal that they said was probably the most hyped, the most jacked up that place has been in a long, long time. I want to see how this compares. I mean, they got the top team in the nation, and sounds like it'll be rowdy in here. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I hope Arkansas is up for the task. If I'm being honest with you, I mean, you just never know with this team. It seems like they play better on the road than they do at home. Is this going to be one of those cases? Does it matter? I don't know. But what I do hope is I hope the fan base can kind of, just like find that fire in your belly again for this basketball team. I know it's been a frustrating deal here for the entirety of the season. Hasn't gone necessarily according to plan. They've had some adversity. They've been bit by the injury bug. They got off to that historically slow start in SEC play. But the way I see it, like, the best stories always start this way, don't they? And that's kind of been John Calipari's message is you still control the way this thing's in. You can write your own story and it can be special. Wouldn't it be something if they came in here and did something a little bit crazy at Auburn? We'll see. But they still got an opportunity to grind their way back into the NCAA tournament when, look, they're not in the best position in the world. They're on the bubble. Some say they're in, some say they're out. But at the end of the day, it's a heck of a lot better spot than you were at the start of this month. I think we can all agree with that. Now, that said, the task at hand here at Auburn, they got the gates. I don't know if you guys can see it here very well, but it's like the AUBURN on every gate. Whatever, nice little touch, I guess you could say. But look, this is a little bit of a different situation. Auburn's the real deal. Last time I was walking around doing one of these, I was walking around outside of Rupp, and kind of my message was, yeah, Kentucky's really good. Sure, Arkansas has been struggling, but it's not that crazy to think that Arkansas could come in here and beat these guys at Kentucky. It's not nuts. They're not that good. They're not that much more talented than Arkansas. They're playing better, but it's not a David versus Goliath situation. Arkansas went in there and got it done. They won by double digits. Now, this feels a little bit different. This feels a little bit closer to that David and Goliath, and it's not because Arkansas is a bad basketball team. They're not. They're in the NCAA tournament conversation. You don't do that if you're a bad basketball team. Are they underachieving a little bit, disappointing relative to expectations? Sure, but they've got some players. They've done some good things this year. Auburn's just built a little bit different. And so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing if Arkansas is up for the challenge. If nothing else, I just hope that they're ready to play. You know what I mean? Like, you come play your A game, give it your best shot, see what happens, let the chips fall where they may. But you don't want another situation kind of like what happened at Texas A&M, right, where Arkansas just doesn't play well. They play their C game, and you feel like they still had a chance to win. They didn't. Like make Auburn beat you. They're good enough to do it. They don't need any favors. Just like A&M didn't need 17 turnovers handed to them to beat Arkansas. Auburn, they definitely don't need any favors to continue winning games. They're on kind of an historic pace here if you really look at it. But as daunting as it may seem, crazier things have happened. crazier things have happened. We'll talk about some of the close calls here in a second for these guys, but Arkansas has a history of beating number 1 Auburn. Okay, like they've been there, they've done that. Yeah, it was a couple years ago with completely different teams, and it was at home at Bud Walton Arena. Sure, yeah, I agree with that. Arkansas's, their history with this team and this regime against number 1s. They remember when they opened SEC play at Tennessee, who was number 1 at the time. Didn't go so well. You want Arkansas to come out ready to play like they did at Kentucky, like they did at Texas, and see what happens. But good Auburn team, man. If you take a look at them, like their KenPom efficiency, they're tracking to be the number 1 offensive efficiency in the KenPom era right now. That's pretty good. Now, Arkansas is pretty damn good on defense themselves, top 25 in the country. So are they going to be able to limit them enough to stay in the game? Because we always wonder, does Arkansas have enough firepower? Well, it kind of depends on the night, right? Like who's cooking, who's not, who's making shots, who's not. We'll see, but the one consistent for the most part has been Arkansas's defense. How does it hold up against an offense as elite as Auburn's? It was really good against Kentucky, for example. They found a way to hold Alabama, who's also very good under their averages. Can they come do that in this environment? I guess we'll find out, won't we? So Arkansas's won 15 games this season. That's a healthy number. They've won 60% of their basketball games. They've got 15 total wins. Auburn has 14 quad 1 wins on the year. For a frame of reference, that's 6 more than anyone else in the country has. They've got 8 quad 1A wins, the elite of the elite. And nobody else has more than 8 quad 1 wins, period. Arkansas, I think, has 3 right now. So they've played a really tough schedule. They've beaten a lot of really good teams. There you have it. Arkansas, according to KenPom, is an 18-point underdog in this game. And, we'll see what the betting line looks like, but it'll probably be, 15.5, 16.5, something like that. Okay, well, fair enough. What gives Arkansas a chance in this game? Like, what gives them the ability to cover in a game like this? To win in a game like this, to compete, to make it interesting, to make it crazy, to get people who are watching this on a national scale tweeting out the eyeball emojis, the John Calipari gifts, if you will. A lot of things, right? But I think, one, you got to look at it, and Bruce Pearl is a great coach, man. He's one of the best in the business. But if Arkansas was going to catch these guys at a particular time, now is probably when you want to do it, right? Like, you wouldn't want to see them after they lost to Florida at home, extra motivated, fired up, ticked off, chip on their shoulder. That's not when you want to play Auburn. But how about when they go on this national scale, number 1 versus number 2 on the road against their heated rival in Alabama and beat those dudes? It's a natural time for a letdown to come back home after that and play against an unranked team. Listen, I wish Arkansas was playing Auburn in a 1 versus 2 game. It's not where we're at. It's a natural letdown spot. Is Bruce Pearl going to let that happen? Probably not. But it's at least something to look at. It's something to consider. It's not crazy. If it wasn't a thing, people wouldn't talk about it. What's their health look like at this point? Chad Baker-Mazara was pretty good in that Alabama game, but he came into it banged up. He was on their injury report. Janai Broome looked like he retweaked that ankle a little bit in that game. Came back in, played, was still effective, but is he 100%? What does that look like for him? So some things there to look at if you're trying to scratch and claw and find an avenue for Arkansas that gives you some hope. Well, yeah, sure, there's some of it. This is not an Auburn team that's crazy, crazy talented. It's not. Obviously, they're very good, among the best in the country, well, the best in the country. But it's not like they got a bunch of lottery picks running around out there, all this NBA talent, just, from top to bottom on the roster. No, it's not that at all. They're just a bunch of old heads, man. They really are. What's their average age in the starting lineup? 24? It's crazy. Like, they're going to have guys out there that are 6, 7 years older than some of Arkansas's players. You think about, Carter Knox as a freshman starter, Billy Richmond. It's funny because one of the things Cal kept saying about Oakland, these other teams, they got guys who are 25, 26 out there. Now, Auburn really does. Okay, like they actually have that going on for them. It's Janai Broome, National Player of the Year candidate in the middle. It's shooters surrounding him at multiple levels. They shoot about 38% from 3 on the year. And it's a team that plays with a ton of swagger, a ton of confidence, a ton of toughness. They're very well coached, they're very connected, and they're together. And Arkansas has been some of those things at times, but that's one of the things they haven't been able to do consistently. That's why after the A&M game, you've got John Calipari saying, hey, they're a little fragile right now. Why are they not playing with confidence if all these guys in the rotation are playing 35 minutes a game? So it's something that Arkansas is looking for. It doesn't mean they can't find it, But that's part of the difference right now between the two teams. But listen, this is not like an Auburn team. It's not a juggernaut. It's not a blue blood. It's not a team that's just been beating the brakes off of everybody. They've been winning games. Yeah, they blew out Oklahoma. Okay, Arkansas should have. They didn't, right? Who else they I think they beat Mississippi State pretty good. But if you look at the SEC schedule, man, I mean, like, single-digit games against Texas. Okay, Arkansas beat Texas. South Carolina, a winless team in this league. Tennessee, they beat by 2. That's a great win. Georgia, they beat by 2. I don't think Broome played in that game, but that's a team that Arkansas beat. Alabama was a single-digit game. Ole Miss a couple weeks ago, that was back and forth till the final minutes. Like, they've been in competitive games. They just know how to close. They know how to finish. They're not as overwhelming as you would expect them to be consistently, like for a team that has this record and these accomplishments, but they're capable of being that if you don't come to play. Right? They'll run you out of the freaking gym. So you have to be locked in for a full 40 minutes. Obviously, that I didn't mention Florida. Like, Florida came into this arena and beat them here. So, you know, there's that. Arkansas hung with Florida. Weirdly enough, like, they were in position to potentially win that game until the final couple minutes. Well, they lose by 7, 8 in that game against Florida. So it's not crazy. You're going to need some things to go right for you. By the way, they got their one Final Four banner on full display back here behind me. Celebrate that. It's kind of funny, as I'm recording this right now, we've got John Neighbors doing the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Let's see if we can scope him out. Y'all see him back there behind me over my shoulder? He's over by the Charles Barkley statue that they have here. That's pretty cool. I'll give him credit for that. What does Arkansas need to happen? They need to play their A game. Obviously, to have a chance to win the game like this, you got to bring it, right? What does that mean? It means a dude Thero needs to bring his A game. He's been your best player all year, your leading scorer. He does so much for you. Where has he been the last couple games? Cal kind of called him out a little bit, if you recall, saying what? Like, hey, bro, you might have to take a back seat. I'm going to play Big Z and Jonas Adu together. You think he wants to do that? I don't think he wants to do that at all. I think he wants his guy to start playing up to his potential. And honestly, if you look at you really got to dig deep. It's like a needle in a haystack to find weaknesses for a team like Auburn. I get it. But one of the things they've struggled with is to defend really good and really talented foremen throughout the country. When they were in that dogfight at Texas early in SEC play, it was because Arthur Kaluma put 34 on them. They didn't have an answer for him. They are in a 3-point game against South Carolina. I know it was at South Carolina, but what the heck is going on? They haven't won a league game. Well, it's because Colin Murray Boyles at the 4 had 25 on him. Right? Asa Newell at Georgia had a double-double on him. So you see guys like that and you think, okay, your best player kind of fits the mold, same guy, or same spot positionally. You need a big game from Thero. You do. Got to get back to the basics. He's averaging what? 16 and 6 on the season. I think he needs to surpass both of those. And he's capable of doing that. He's done it in a bunch of games this season. But I think that's step one for Arkansas. Your backcourt, it's got to show up. Got to show up. Arkansas doesn't have a chance if DJ Wagner and John L. Davis don't play well in this game. They don't have a chance. Sorry. You can't have, DJ going, 3 of 12 with 4 turnovers. You can't have John L. Davis doing his 4 of 13 thing that he's fallen in love with lately. You need the road warrior versions of those guys that you saw in Lexington, that you saw in Austin. I mean, that's a non-negotiable. Even if Carter Knox continues to play well, like he's kind of in his breakout mode right now, that's awesome. Yeah, you certainly need to have Billy Richmond making contributions. Great. Fantastic, man. I love it. Big Z on his, Nikola Jokic art. Yep, probably going to need that too. But your starting backcourt's got to give you some, man. You got to have it. I think you got to have 30 points between the two of them. And it's not crazy. It's not a crazy thing to ask at all. They just haven't done it the last couple games. So we'll see what they're made of. I think Arkansas, what they need to make, 8 to 10 threes in this one, right? Maybe you get, 3 from Z. DJ Wagner gives you 1 or 2. You get 2 or 3 from John L. Davis. Carter hits 1. Maybe the one shot Trevin Brazile decides to take, he knocks 1 down. But you're going to need that because you got to have some firepower to win in a game like this for sure. Even if your defense is playing well, like Auburn's going to score, obviously. Got to keep an eye on that. Janai Broome, do you have an answer for him one-on-one in the post? No. Nobody in the country does. Z can't guard him one-on-one. Adu can't guard him one-on-one. Trevin can't. Like, it's just, nobody can. That's why he's maybe the favorite, either him or Cooper Flagg, for National Player of the Year at this point. Do I think that Big Z's length inside could frustrate him a little bit, could impact him a little bit, because he's not a super athlete, Broom, and he's dealing with that ankle? Yeah, I think there could be something to that, but he's probably going to get his. My question is, can you keep Auburn from having a Robin to Johni Broom's Batman, right? Like, can you keep, no Chad Baker-Mazara going for 23, right? No Tahad Pettiford, the really talented freshman, getting after you. No Miles Kelly hitting 4 or 5 threes on you. Like, can you limit some of that stuff? Because if you do, Johni Broom can get his, which he probably will, and you're still right there in the thick of things in this basketball game. And I also wonder, can, from an offensive standpoint, how close can Big Z come to matching Johni Broom's offensive output? Like, if Broom goes for, 22 on you, can you get 18 or more out of Z? You know what I mean? Like, can you counteract that? I think the potential is there for that to happen. I mean, he's been going crazy from a scoring standpoint here the last few games, so why not? Right? Those are the little things that you're looking for in a game like this if you're going to get over the hump. But yeah, obviously a lot of the attention is going to be on Johni Broom. He's phenomenal. I mean, he is the best front court player in the country. He's expanded his game. He's knocking down threes now. He can put it on the floor. He's a force inside. He's great on the glass. He's tremendous, right? That's who you hear all about, but they got a lot of really good pieces, man. Chad Baker-Mazara, he's kind of the energy guy. He's got some stuff to him, toughness, fearlessness, plays with swagger. Maybe a little too much. He's going to irritate you guys for sure, but he's got that to him, and he's a shot creator, man. He can knock him down. Denver Jones really emerged as a point guard, 40% three-point shooter, maybe the best perimeter defender in the conference, so he's either going to be on DJ or Nelly, so you got to look out for that. Miles Kelly from Georgia Tech, knockdown shooter on the wing, man. Really good shooter. So you're going to have to really chase him off the screens, not let him get a bunch of open looks out there. Dylan Cardwell, my man who I was just walking by, he's big, all right? Big, tough, physical, motor guy in the paint. He's going to start. So if you're going to play two bigs, you better do it at the beginning of the game when they play two bigs also. Tahad Pettiford, great freshman guard, really talented player. The type of guard that they really haven't had that often under Bruce Pearl, maybe since, thinking freshman guards like Sharif Cooper, maybe. He might be better than them. I don't know. We'll see. Chaney Johnson, 4-man off the bench, who was a D2 player that's really blossomed. He's averaging like 10 points per game for him, gives him some size, some more physicality in there. Chance Moore, the West Memphis native, he's still there. Yeah, I know, it feels like it's been 6-8 years. He was in that Moses Moody, KK Robinson, Jalen Williams class, and he's still at Auburn right now. Deep team. They'll play 9 deep. They could go deeper if they needed to, but at the end of the day, I just want to see is Arkansas come out here and play well. Embrace the challenge. Embrace the opportunity. How cool is this, man? To be on the road, you're fighting for your NCAA tournament lives. Opportunity to put yourself on the right side of the bubble for good, shock the world, remind everybody like you did a couple weeks ago when you were on the road. Took some frustrations out on Big Blue Nation, what this team is capable of. They got a chance to do that again. We'll find out what it looks like. Make sure you stay tapped into what we got going on here. The Pot the Palace postgame show is going to be live from Neville Arena. It'll be John and I following the game. We're looking forward to it. Appreciate everybody for following along with the journey. We'll see what tonight holds. Appreciate y'all. We'll talk to you soon.